Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Real Film Reviews Podcast. I'm Eric,
JD.
and today we're talking about probably one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made, sci-fi horror, The Thing from 1982, directed by John Carpenter.
And if you like hearing just two random dudes that really don't have just their own opinion, then please stick around. This is technically our second attempt trying this, so
My son ran in.
going to try to shorten this up a little more. Yeah, we're in another random location. So
Yeah, our locations are going to be moving until we can find a permanent spot, so yeah.
Still think we need to camp out in the woods.
Yeah, we'll even do it in the woods.
Camp with the homeless people.
I don't think there's any homeless people around here.
It's easy to find them. You just gotta look.
It's easy if you try, Dan. Also wanted to say, too, that...
Go ahead, though. You were talking about people starring?
Yeah.
I know you got your list.
So we're directed by John Carpenter, of course, starring Kurt Russell, Keith David, T.K. Carter, David Clennon, Wilford Brimley, Richard Dystart, Charles Holland, Peter Maloney, Richard Mauser, Donald Moffat, Joe Polis, and Thomas Waits. And that's all the actors. Usually I only like to do a few, but I did all 12 because they only had 12.
How many did you do in Commando last time?
7.
7? Okay. So that felt like a huge amount.
Yeah,
so.
the most important ones. Music by Ennio Morricone, produced by David Foster and Lawrence Turlman. Cinematography by Dean Cundy, which he does a lot of John Carpenter movies. So
yeah.
Budget was $15 million. Box office, 19.9. It made money, but it was, I guess, considered a failure.
It's funny how it is, because like how much of a cult classic it is now.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying, it's definitely in my top 5. Always kind of in my 1 to 2 range. It kind of fluctuates back and forth, but at this point, movies like almost it's at least 40 years old right now.
Yeah. 40. Oh, about to be 42.
Right.
By the way, too, our first episode, I mentioned that we're going to do a lot of movies from 85 because those movies turned 40 this year, and so do I. However, this is the second episode, and this movie's in 1982, not 85. And people are going to be like, I thought you were talking about 85 movies. And all I got to say is, don't worry about it. Mind your business. But the principal photography began on August 24th, 1981 in Juneau, Alaska. Filming lasted 12 weeks, all right? It was criticized for the effects. They thought they were too gross when they came out, which...
I mean, yeah, I could see how it would be like that. The damn chest burster scene, that's enough that would fuck you up.
We'll get to that.
I know we'll get to that, but
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
And I heard some people say this was not like good effects either, but that was like high level. I'd say high level. It's like, I guess, other directors and shit, but it was like, I think people kind of saw that this is actually a good movie, but wanted to just
special effects by special effects by I think his name's pronounced Rob Bottin.
Mm-hmm. I knew it was a Rob. I didn't know the actual rest.
He was only 22 when he did this movie.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's
way
really
more than
impressive.
my shit. Way more than I've done at 22. Dude's actually making a damn movie.
But they say a lot of reasons. Well, one of the main reasons why the movie didn't do so well is because I think it came out around E.T. I didn't look up the exact date, but people wanted, I guess, more friendly aliens than
that's hilarious because the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Because people probably saw E.T. and thought, hey, let's go see another alien movie. And oh, dear God.
Hot take, I don't care too much.
I think people probably also thought this was like a bad knockoff of Alien. Yeah. Alien was like, what, 1980?
79.
79, okay. It might basically well be the 80s.
A couple of facts about this movie is John Carpenter considers this his personal favorite movie he's done.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not that one movie Mars or whatever that he released?
Ghost of Mars?
I
like that movie.
That wasn't his favorite movie.
You
have it?
Yeah.
We should watch that. That's what we should watch next. See what the fuck it's like.
We're planning on watching a movie after this, but we're going to talk about this one first.
They don't need to know that.
Oh. Scratch that.
They don't need to know that.
Let's rewind that. The film eventually found a cult following when it was released on home video and TV, and it has since been reappraised as one of the best sci-fi and horror movies ever made. And I agree.
Oh yeah, I guess we can pretty much hop right into the movie. But the funny part about this is, I watched this in October, and I got to watch it with a friend who she's not big into horror, and mainly it's because of the jump scares. So I had to go out and edit the jump scares because I didn't think there was that many in the movie, but apparently there was more than I thought. It just didn't jump scare me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of interesting watching it with her because she actually like knows a little bit of Norwegian, so she was able to pick up in the beginning with the dogs how like the people are actually warning like the dog, like don't mess with the dog. It's something's wrong with it. You know, it was warning the actual crew. It's like if you actually understood Norwegian, you can understand what they were saying, which I thought that's a pretty neat little thing.
Yeah.
Of course, spoilers.
You're talking about spoiler alert.
The very beginning when the dog's running in and they're like,
that's what I had written down in here. I thought that he was yelling the stuff out of the helicopter, like at him, but it's when they landed and he pointed at it, and I wrote it down because I wanted to. I wrote it down real quick to see what he said because in America we're not supposed to know. Because we don't speak it, but it was ruined for people, especially in Norway, I guess. Yeah. He said, "It's not a dog. It's a sort of thing. It's an imitation. It's imitating a dog. It isn't real. Get away, you idiots."
I really don't know which I'd like more. I guess I can appreciate it now because I've seen the movie on the American side, so getting to know what they're saying. I don't think it would have ruined it, the movie still, but I definitely think the surprise part, because obviously, it goes into, they clearly take in the scene, they go to the dog part, but I didn't know if you had anything any other little parts you want to talk about before we get to that. We're trying to expedite it because I pointed out to him last time that like our last podcast was about the same length as the movie. So it's like, why would you, first off, thank you if you're listening to us, but it's like, why would you listen to us when you can just go watch the damn movie?
Yeah. So, I got a little excited. Our first one, I kind of wanted to talk about it.
How many pages?
It was 17 pages. Don't judge.
Sure it wasn't 27?
No. If maybe. No.
It's a lot of pages.
Real quick, though, I did want to mention, though, real quick, is at the beginning that the title that like burns in.
That was like a trash bag, wasn't it, or something?
They took a fish tank filled with smoke and they drew the title on an animation cell, and a garbage bag was placed behind the title, and then they burnt it to create that effect.
Still, really cool effect.
That was the same effect that they used for the original movie, which is it's based on a book called Who Goes There? And I'll talk more about it at the end. But they also decided to do a movie, The Thing from Another World, which is one of John Carpenter's favorite movies.
That was like, what, 1940s or something?
1951, which I still would like to see. I just can't find it anywhere right now.
I've never seen it. I just know it's, obviously it's completely different.
Oh, yeah. I still, and he used it in Halloween.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He had the background. I know that there's some reference to MacReady when he's fighting with the chest.
Yeah.
And he dumps. I know someone made a reference about how like he tries to play by the rules, and he just kind of goes, fuck it.
Yeah, he got mad because he was losing. Yeah. Oh, another thing too is, a movie with nothing but men. The one female voice, her name is Adrienne Barbeau. She did a lot of like 70s, 80s exploitation movies, and she was married, I think, or dated John Carpenter for a while. So I thought that was neat. She's been in. She was in Creep Show. Yeah. She was in Swamp Thing, and she was in Escape from New York, another John Carpenter movie. But so they're trying. The dog comes, and the dog just wants attention. So the guy's like, "Oh," and then the guy's shooting at him.
Well, the funny part is the dog was like trying to lick him, which clearly meant it was probably trying to pass his genes on to other people. Yep. Because it's like thinking, I'm going to die, but obviously
did it lick him?
I don't think it licked. It did lick somebody. It tried to lick them, and that could be like an idea of it trying to pass on his genes through some way. Because obviously in the movie, it's kind of talked about how like, all right, saliva could be a
Yeah.
thing. So closed cans or bottles.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like every time I recommend this movie to people, I feel like the dog scene's going to make or break it for them, because obviously, the dog is getting mutated, absorbing the other animals and stuff. So I always feel like that's going to be a make or break. And if you can warn people about that, it's fine. Which, ironically, like I was saying, my friend, she's okay with all the gory shit. It was just the jump scares, which I figured would be the other way around.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right.
But yeah, so they shoot the dude in the eye and they get him in there. But also, I found it funny too is that when all the shit firing was going down, everyone was trying to run out. McCready had that bottle of, I think it's J&B,
Mm-hmm.
didn't drop it. He ran out of there holding it, and he was outside with it too.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, put the bottle down. It's okay. But they're all, trying to figure out what's going on.
Just get a
And
little sauce for work.
and-
You're out, dude. You're literally out there, and I know that there's technically, I guess, a boss, but it's such shitty conditions. They probably don't care.
But and he says, first goddamn week of winter. In which, it's going to get worse, bud. By the way, Wilford Brimley, everyone knows Wilford Brimley had the mustache diabetes. He didn't have the mustache in the movie, and that shit is nightmare fuel.
Well, to me, I never knew he was an actor until I finally realized that he was in this movie. And I was like,
I thought he invented diabetes.
I thought he was just a spokesperson for diabetes, and it's like, okay.
My uncle looks like him. My uncle, he's been dead for a few years, but he had the mustache, the white mustache. And just a quick story is that he definitely did. I'm not going to show a picture, but he did. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. So a lady came up to him and said, "Do you know who you look like with that mustache?" And he said, "Tom Selleck." "Yes, I know. I hear it all the time." But it wasn't Tom Selleck. It was Wilford Brimley, of course. He told him. But it's a funny joke if you know who Tom Selleck is.
Yeah. Okay. I do. I'm just...
No, it's fine.
Just let you tell your story.
No, yeah, I got you. But, so they had to get together now to go to the other base where that dude came from. So
I really love the build-up of that. We're talking about the part where they fly out and he's got the ridiculous sombrero, right?
That hat, I want that hat.
That hat was hilarious. Apparently, Kurt was he was sitting down in his makeup thing and he looked over and saw it on the hat. He's like, "What's with the sombrero?" And "Oh, it's gonna be what you wear." And he's like, "I'm not wearing that shit."
And he wore it.
And he goes, "Sometimes you just got to accept what other people might see," which is that's pretty cool. I love the build-up to this. And at the very end, we're going to talk about the thing. I think 2011 was it?
Yeah, we're going to bring that up a little bit at the end.
But yeah, I love the buildup of that whole scene and how they did the whole mystery behind it and everything. And I know while this is going on, the tension in this movie is just great. I love how you don't really see the dog creeping around.
Yeah, the dog walks down the hall.
But you don't see the person.
Yeah, stops at a doorway and you see a shadow of some guy. And then he's like, okay. And then just, I guess, walks off. Like,
that's
all right,
dog, yep.
Whatever. So they go to they're at the base. They're looking around. And they had the axe in the wall, which I want to bring that up later. I'm just going to
bring
say
that
it right
up
now.
later and why I hate the prequel movie.
Yeah. So, and also, they find the dude that killed himself, slit both of his wrists with the frozen blood, which looked cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then he must have cut his neck fucking hard because his head was almost coming off. I figured he'd at least slice it, just a little.
He probably figured the wrist is taking too long and panicked.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this
Just
shit.
And then they get all the video footage because they find a spaceship. And they find the frozen block where the thing was frozen, which will be brought up in a little bit too.
I'm not to go ahead.
I was just going to say,
I'm trying to expedite it, but not in a bad way.
No, I got you. I wanted to.
We are still trying to figure this out, and I
also noticed too that the tall guy with the white hair that gets tied to the couch that says my favorite line in the movie. If you're thinking, I don't know if you noticed, but he was the only one wearing a like a
military-ish looking
Western, like
Yeah,
cowboy
Western
holster.
look.
You noticed
Yeah,
that?
I've noticed that.
I've never noticed that
felt
until I
his
watched it
outfit
last
was
night.
like that too. I felt his outfit had
Now that
very
you mention
Western.
it, yeah.
It's just, I get it. You know, it's cold. You're gonna wear what you like, but it's just like,
So they find a body with two faces, and they go and bring it in there to study it. And he's just looking around in there. And also notice something too. They had Keith David, the black guy, and
I guess we're mainly going to be talking about kind of our favorite scenes as we just go
yes,
through the movie.
well,
we don't
yes,
need to
favorite
talk about the
scenes.
whole damn movie, too.
No, I'm not. I'm just kind of I'm trying to guide us through. But I found something interesting here is that they were watching recordings of, I guess, The Price is Right or some kind of show, all right? And it was the only visual representation of female in the movie, like women.
Right.
However, in the video, only the guy was talking. And I guess he was about to give the mic to her. The dude walks up and turns it off so you don't hear another woman's voice. So technically a woman is in it, but you don't hear her voice.
You're not going to think about it because it's a show.
I know. I found that really weird, though. Like, no women.
I never noticed that. I was too focused on the alien and the split and stuff.
But
I know you're mostly going to be guiding us on here because you literally just watched it. The plot of the movie is a little bit more fresh for you.
Yes, it's. I just wanted to. We are going to talk about a lot of things, but it's just a guide. So we already talked about everything else. So we get to the first crazy scene, the dog cage scene.
The dog cage scene I thought was done really well, but I got to ask, when did you first see this movie? How old do you think you were? I was 9.
Okay, the first time
I didn't see the dog scene when I was 9. I saw the chess scene when I was 9, and that scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize this was the same movie at a later time when I watched it, and the dog part still fucked with me. The dog part, though, I like how, I don't know how they go about training them, but I thought it was really kind of impressive how they got the dog start like ripping off the panic of like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, start ripping the cage. Yeah. Cage could have been made out of some like type of like sugar wire or something to make the dog bite at it or sprayed something.
And it was cool how
it's really cool how they do
the body of that alien, it was, as it was sitting there, those red licorice looking tentacles would come out, and they were just, it was like on the floor, just, you know. I just thought that was a really cool effect too. And then the scene where it starts to spray, like it's a foam spray at the dog. Part. Every time the dog would like, get away, it would like follow him.
Yeah. That's where I think some people feel uncomfortable because nobody likes seeing animals.
No one likes seeing animals hurt. It doesn't bother me. And sometimes that's the thing that I want to talk about too. Like, it kind of irks my skin sometimes whenever someone says, "Oh, I'm not going to watch that movie because a dog dies or an animal dies." It's like, I know it sucks, but at the same time, it's not really dead. It's a movie. Kind of like John Wick. There was someone I worked with, and they said they wouldn't watch the movie, especially the first one, because his dog died. Someone told them. It's like, well, I don't need to see that movie. And it's like, shut up.
Okay, at first I thought you meant like if an actual physical dog died.
No.
I feel like, damn, Eric.
Well, there's a story behind a kid's movie that we'll talk about another day, but not right now. But so they, I guess, call Childs in with the flamethrower.
Yeah, he comes in with the flamethrower, which I love how in this movie everything really like dies by fire. That is
also, I love the way it looks too. It sprays out like if you do a spray bottle, the straight stream, but it's fire.
So this, I kind of lead into this. There's apparently, God, it's been so long, but I was recommended this story from a buddy. And he was telling me about how there's a story where you kind of get the viewpoint of the alien, and given that the thing evolves and shapes, they were thinking it's not particularly this scene, but it has to do with fire. When it got hit by fire, they're trying to do this thing of like it trying to shape into something that's fireproof. And I thought that was kind of a cool concept to think, like, what would the alien be thinking in this when it's getting attacked? Because obviously this alien doesn't show its ass unless it's being attacked.
Yeah,
that's what I love about this.
Yeah,
and hate in the fucking
in the prequel, they just
fucking hate that.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, it just for no reason it lost all the thing. It's like I'm gonna show it now. It's like, come on.
But so they get it and they're studying it again. He's cutting it open, doing the thing, and it's just listening to Wilford Brimley like that's not a dog, that's imitation. That's an imitation. And he's so fucking focused on that shit, and then which I'm pretty sure what drives him crazy until I guess what happens.
Go ahead though, because you saw the movie, so you know a little bit more of the structure. Because I'm just thinking of the main point.
So they finally they got some of that footage because they said a lot of the stuff was written in Norwegian. They couldn't read it, but they had videos, and they show them blowing it up to find the spaceship, which I didn't mention earlier when or is it? I think it's later. Never mind. So the body of I think it was that thing just laying there, and it was like dripping. Like
the best part about this entire movie is that no one's fucking stupid.
No
one is fucking stupid. They see the monster in the dog scene. Everyone's like, there's no that. Oh, it didn't happen. I didn't. I love that everybody's like on board. Like, yeah, that was fucked up. We need to start sealing only drink from bottles that are sealed. I forgot what they said about with the food and stuff, but I like that.
Eating from cans.
Yeah, I like that so much more instead of like fucking Prometheus where, oh, it's breathable. Let me take off the thing. The fucking germs would kill you.
I feel like every time we get together to talk about movies, that's brought up.
Well, it's just, it's fucking retarded. They're supposed to be scientists, and it's like, I understand the air might be breathable. My ass still ain't taking off. And guess what? In the fucking second movie, motherfucker got alien ear aids. Because the fucking shit became airborne. Because he took his fucking helmet off and stepped on a fucking fungus mushroom thing.
He got Freddie Mercury.
God, that was so... It's just...
Rest in peace.
I understand you gotta have something happen, but it's like I hate when the characters are fucking retarded. And it's like, oh, that's gonna happen because he was stupid. It's like, yeah, I get there's people make mistakes, but it's sometimes when it feels very intentional, like this is only happening. I fucking hate it. It's like my biggest pet peeve with those two movies. I enjoy Prometheus. Don't like that one. But that's not the movie we're talking about now. I just wanted to talk about that.
It's okay.
It's refreshing to fucking watch a movie where everyone is like on board.
Yep.
And I'm not saying people don't do stupid things in this movie. They just didn't. They weren't doing the "I'm written to be stupid" kind of thing that you see in some movies.
By the way, though, careful on the R word, just in case some people get offended. Just in case.
Keep reading your notes.
I'm reading my notes.
I use that when I very strongly. When I use it,
it's okay. I'm not upset, but I'm just. I'm not R-worded. I'm not R-worded. Are you though? So they start burning everything, and I've also wrote down that Bennings was the guy that was saying like all the food and stuff.
Right.
Fix your food.
Yeah.
He just turns up dead, burnt. Yeah. They found him because of his glasses.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize either. He was the only one that died like off screen, I think.
Yeah. They find the body. Yeah. And then I know I'm trying to remember like all the key points that happen, kind of, because I know like obviously the next scene is the chest burster scene.
Well, that's coming up, but
I don't want to.
But this is when they just, as they're doing it, they're getting rid of all the stuff they think is contaminated, and Wilford Brimley starts chopping up everything. They see him running out of the helicopter with an axe.
He didn't take his fucking diabetes medicine.
They went to go check, and it was destroyed. And then I guess
that was after he did the whole prompt thing, right, on the computer of how long would simulation
how long it would take. Right. Yeah, and then he they're all hiding, and he's like in there chopping shit with the axe and shoot everyone. So it was so funny. It was the scene where Childs comes in from behind. He's like, "Blair, please come down." He just turns around, just starts shooting at him.
I never knew this, but apparently, the actor who played Childs like broke his hand.
Yeah,
he was in a casket or something.
Yeah.
And I never noticed it, but in that particular scene, he's trying to like hide his left hand a bunch. You can see it just a little bit when he's like peeping over.
I tried to watch. I read that before I watched the movie, and I tried to look for it, and
you can barely see it when he's like leaning over by Kurt. It looks like you can see just a little bit of a casket.
Speaking of Keith David's Childs, Carl Weathers was a choice to play him. but he didn't want to be in a sci-fi horror movie.
I kind of wish he would have. That could have been interesting. I mean, he did it.
He would have probably taught him golf. It's all in the hips. Wrong movie. Also, too, I found out Kurt Russell, like he wasn't the only choice, but he was picked because he worked with John Carpenter on Escape from New York, and he played Elvis in a movie that he directed. I don't know if you knew that.
I forgot about that, too.
Yeah. But also other people were considered for his part was Christopher Walken, Nick Nolte, Jeff Bridges, and Tom Atkins.
I could have seen Jeff Bridges, because I occasionally will get Kurt and Jeff. Like, now that they're older, and if they're both rocking the beard, I can occasionally get them mixed up. Yeah. I'm like...
they picked right, because Kurt Russell's awesome in this movie.
It would have been like Clint Eastwood. That would have been a weird... it would have just been Western Clint Eastwood is how I would have seen it.
But so they end up subduing him, and putting him in the little cabin outside. Like, you stay in that. We'll talk. We'll get to there. I know what you're laughing about because I want to talk about it too. And so they come up with a test. They're going to start the blood test, so they go look for the blood, and the blood is empty. All the little packs they had in there are empty. Only 2 of them had the key, but everyone not trusting each other, so they don't know what to do. And
does this lead into the blood testing scene?
We're getting there.
Okay. I really should have watched the movie early, but it's like I knew you were going to take your PDF of notes, so I was like, I know you'll keep it.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm not one to hit an hour and 30 minutes.
No, it's fine. If you look, we're almost there.
Oh, all right. I forgot it was a heart attack that happened. I'm sitting here saying it's my favorite movie, and I'm having fucking.
But so McCready's recording, just in case if none of them make it, which is a little depressing to think. Now you know how the movie ends, but
spoilers.
And then so someone walks by and scares the shit, I think, out of the cook guy. I can't remember his name. I don't remember all their names.
One guy was named Windows. Windows, I think, was the one that gets like the head eats. I think that was Windows. You had McCready, Childs.
Blair is Wilford Brimley.
Who was Cooper?
I don't know.
Someone was Cooper. I think Cooper.
Palmer was the guy that said, "You got to be fucking kidding!"
Right.
And Gary was the
he was the
tied to the couch, which
Western.
We'll get there. We'll call him Cowboy. But so they're trying to prepare, I guess, and they end up going back to Blair, and going back to Wilford Brimley in there, and I always found this funny.
Whoever the camera guy and set up the scene, perfect. Fucking chef's kiss. Cinema meme. It is just too good. You think you're doing okay? You okay? And just that look with the fucking noose.
He's sitting there eating. In the background, in the foreground, is his noose, and he's like, "I want to come in. I'm all better now.
I'm all better, huh? Maybe you should just continue."
He's like, "Let me in. I'm all better now," and he just closes the thing slowly. The noose hanging there gets me every time.
I know it's supposed to be dark, but it honestly, it's hilarious. That I'm all better now. Now, the heart attack happens because they started expecting... Because I know at one part, McCready and the other guy walk out, and then he comes back in, and he's like, oh, McCready... He was the guy...
He cut loose.
He cut loose. So everybody thinks that he's batshit crazy. And, I mean, to be fair, he kind of is, but he's being smart by having the TNT. Just be like, I'll blow us all up.
And also, too, a part that we forgot was the guy that got wrapped up by one of the bodies that was oozing earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then they went back, and it was gone. I mean, Windows, he came back, and he looked, and he was laying there, which I'm pretty sure there'd be goop everywhere. I don't care what anybody says, being wrapped up in the shit. And then they go, he's like, everyone, this is... And he goes to him, and he's gone. The window's broken, no goo, no nothing. And then they catch him. And then the dude kneeling in the snow with his weird little hands.
The thing I like about, and again, the alien, when he was assimilating him, didn't do anything fancy and over the top. And I understand it's obviously the special effects, But the alien, even then, when he was assimilating, was like, "I'm gonna be kind of low key about it. I'm not gonna showboat like the other movie."
Yeah, so they're trying to block McCready from coming in because now they think it's him. And then the heart attack is foreshadowed because the dude's getting everything ready and he looks out the window and he's and he makes this little See, I haven't seen it in a while until I watched it last night, but he goes but and then McCready gets in, frozen beard and hair, threatening to blow everyone up with the dynamite. It's like, dude, chill out. You know?
Really? No, I understand him wanting to blow it the fuck out. Everyone's trying to kill you, and he's like, look, he's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill us all.
We're all gonna die.
If anything, I'll at least take myself out, not getting fucking assimilated.
And what happens? They get in a fight and they push the heart attack dude, and he falls down.
He had it coming.
And then we get the heart attack scene, is what I called it. So the guy, he's having a heart attack, of course. So they pick him up, set him onto the table. And the doctor is on his knees, like on the table, doing compressions on his chest.
That scene was so good.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
All right. So he's doing it. So they're like, get the defibrillator, get the defibrillator. So, clear, does it one time. Oh no, he's dead. Clear. As he does it again, his chest opens up and bites his arms. And the guy screams and he pulls him off. And which is, I don't know if you noticed for a second, but when he comes up, so it's an amputee.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then they put that doctor, they made a replica of his face and put it on there because he has that permanent like mask face, like he gets it up. But I find it crazy too that it bites his arms.
Mm-hmm.
It should have bit it clean off where it did, but if you notice, it broke above the cut.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, it's hard. It's hard for people to notice. They could have been like a tearing thing.
No, it's. I mean,
it wasn't really
not even that bad. I was just saying, like, I think it.
I was expecting the alien came back to life from the first shock because it's supposed to replicate all your defects. I think it was actually dead, and then when they did the shock, it brought it to life, and then they realized, like, oh, this thing might actually harm me, or it could have been harmed from the first one. It didn't realize, so then it took its opportunity.
So I didn't write down anything about it because we were going to talk about it. So then the guy's chest opens and starts spitting out goop, and then this snot rocket shoots up. Is what it looks like.
There's some weird over-the-top shit in this movie.
But it's so good. It's so good. They look up, and it's the dude that just died of the heart attack. His head's on with little legs kicking like...
and you're sitting here saying, watch out for the R word, and you're fucking doing the man.
I did. I'm sorry. Oops.
Which is fucking worse.
And then he's sitting there, and his head starts to rip.
The head was it's funny how much people have like used that as an iconic throwback to the thing. Like in all the movies.
I always found it like it's gross, but I always find it grosser
because fucking crap.
No, I know, but when his head is stretching,
and
it's like all green.
Yeah, that's gross.
And then the one little green vessel like pops a yellow goat come out. You know, I just always found that particular part going ew, and it falls to the ground, and he shoots out his licorice tongue because it looks like licorice, looks like candy.
Well, I love that it tries to like just nonchalantly crawl away, like it's just like what?
It grows the legs to, and it gets up, and it's that shot of Kurt Russell, and then in the background you see the head skirting across the thing, and they all notice. They look, and then Palmer says, "You gotta be fucking kidding!"
Oh shit!
And then they light it on fire, and then it does a little spin.
Yeah.
I never realized that until I watched it last night.
Yeah,
it does this little spin.
I guess to try to save on time, I know eventually that leads into.
No, that's what I have right here.
Yeah, it leads into the blood testing.
Ooh, and this is the best scene in the movie. I don't care what anybody says.
It's the best scene, and all these jump scares, like that one and the one that happens in this, are all earned. It's not your cheesy, over-the-top, loud music, boom, bass sound effect. It's all earned.
So what goes on is that what they want to do is get a sample of everyone's blood and then take a little piece of copper wire and heat it up with that flamethrower, and they're going to touch it. And if they think every part of someone who's assimilated is like in sync. So like if something happens to the blood, it'll do something, and then the other person will
It's
freak
thinking
out.
like every time it detaches from the main host, becomes
Yeah.
its own host.
That's
Kinda
how
like-
it's
it's the
trying to
worm. It's
prove.
the worm effect, where when you cut a worm in half, it's technically two worms now. It's
So
weird to think, but yeah, that's how it works.
so they get everyone's blood.
And this is where the dog cage dude dies, because he's like,
Yeah,
he
'cause
tries to
he
stop,
tries
he
to
gets shot
stab
in
him,
the
and
head.
he shoots the dude in the head. All right, so they're testing the blood, and they test his blood that he just shot, and then Childs goes, he says,
Be
he
a
was
murderer.
human, which makes you a murderer.
The part I want to say, I love how they did the build up for this, because it shows that same scene of the hand holding the vial, and you get stuck. They always show the same angle of it. I think it changes ever so slightly for the actual build up, but you're seeing this constant, so you get used to seeing the hand, and it lures you into this false sense of like, okay, everything's going to be okay, because he didn't get tested, tensions are high, and he's arguing at one guy, and he starts, I think,
Yeah, he goes, it's Gary,
Yeah,
the doctor. He goes, this is nonsense, doesn't prove a thing. And he says, I figure you say that. You're the only person that had a key to get into that blood. We'll do you last. And
Yeah.
as he touches it, it shoots out, but he's testing Palmer, which
Yeah.
is next to him, so he's at the end shaking and everything. And the other dudes are still tied to the thing.
But what I
freaking
love about it is when it shoots, it's the same angle. They had
Yeah.
a prosthetic hand
Yeah.
that shot it out.
I think every shot that they had right there was the prosthetic hand.
I don't think they changed it, which
Yeah.
helped.
Yeah.
Whoever did the painting for it did an amazing job to keep the angle. Now, I noticed this when I watched the scene. The whole thing about this movie is the quote unquote "who is the thing." You won't see a white dot, but I noticed when I rewatched this scene that you could see the white dot in the guy's
There was
eye.
there was a lot of theories about everyone.
You could see the
It was
dot in his
about a
eye.
glimmer in the eye.
You could see the dot in his eye, but then
Yeah.
right before the blood testing, you didn't see it. So I wonder if they missed that in editing, or if that was just. But
that is a theory about like what happens like ending wise.
yeah,
But
Anyway.
it's really hard to focus on
the
that.
dude. The part that gets me about this is after he breaks free for no reason,
He
he
just-
just flies up to the ceiling. I don't get why. I was trying to think, did he shoot something up? He just went like, yeah, he did it.
And he
Then he lands, it splits his head, and I was trying to think.
poor
Like,
Windows. He didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong.
I was trying to think. All right, why didn't Windows do anything? But at the same time,
Wait, he
you
tried
would
to
be-
start it, but it wouldn't work.
He was trying to start, but then he kind of just accepted his fate because the thing splits in half and then eats him. And I was like thinking he has enough time to get away.
with the little bounce. Like,
Yeah, he has enough time to get away, but at the same time, I was like,
he was freaking out. There was an
Yeah.
alien in
I
front
mean,
of him.
I'd honestly be freaking
I
out
would've been
too.
dead, too.
Yeah, so it's like I get that.
But
And they're just all tied up in the thing, like,
they're all freaking out. They get out and then they light it on fire and then they burnt.
the explosion is like that. That's just
No, that's why, because he
Yeah.
jumps out of the wall. He goes through the wall and he's out there, and I think he falls for a second, and then McCready takes a dynamite, lights it, throws it, and the guy he takes 2 steps, falls, and then.
I don't even know if it showed the guy falling, because when I rewatched it, it looked like it just like after he threw it, it was like boom, like immediate explosion.
Yeah, it got him. Yeah,
It
it got him though. But
So that was
I
during
always found that cool.
that was during the part where the story was talking about like evolving into something and not be fireproof. That was kind of
Yeah.
that was supposed to be the scene, but obviously he didn't evolve for dynamite.
so they're like, and then they had to burn windows because he was starting to
Yeah,
burn too.
that's right. I forgot about
So-
that.
They get all the tests done, and the last person to do is Gary. So they test it, and he's clean. And then he has my favorite line. Can I do the line?
Yeah, go ahead, because I don't remember. I know it's great, but it's like I don't. Yeah,
I hope my son's not listening in the other room. He says, I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch.
you got some spit on that one.
That flew out. You saw that?
But I know eventually at one point they're like, all right, we're gonna go check on.
Yeah, they go
we're
check
gonna-
on Blair.
The problem is, I know his name.
They were
I
gonna
keep
do
wanting to
this
say.
test.
I keep wanting to say like Brimley.
That's fine.
Wilford.
You
I
can
keep
call
wanting
him
to say it because honestly, I like to think that's just him.
I call him Captain Diabetes.
Well, it's just kind of funny to think it's just Wilford Brimley in this, and not.
I thought he was in Cocoon. You know,
Okay.
that movie about the pod with that they get younger or something. But you've seen his diabetes commercials, huh?
Oh, who hasn't?
So it's diabetes, you know him.
Yeah.
So there was an interview that he's gone now, but before that, someone recorded him in the interview. He's like, "What's your favorite candy?" And he sat there for a moment. He goes, Favorite candy? I don't eat candy. I have diabetes."
That's why he was technically. See, I like to have like that side head canon where he was really just trying to build a ship to get away because the diabetes.
Yeah,
diabetes ship. Which that ship really wasn't that big that he was building, but I mean, I guess he just needed the thing could transform. So it's like it's not like it couldn't just turn into this blob and like form into it.
So yeah. So they go to give him the blood test, but he's gone, and they're looking everywhere for him. And I wanted to. I don't know how long he was in there. Maybe a day.
He did it very fast.
They go under, and they find he built a little tiny spaceship.
Yeah, because he destroyed the helicopter. He destroyed all this other stuff.
He must have been getting in and out and doing that, but it's like he built that pretty fast.
Makes you wonder, when did he get turned?
Yeah. So they're like, you know what? We gotta just destroy it all. They're planting charges, bombs everywhere.
Say this part of the movie went by really fast.
Yes,
it felt like it was done
because Wilford Brimley was gone. They didn't know where he was, so they're planting all the bombs. And then Gary, I guess, he's doing something, and as he turns around, Blair's right behind him.
The finger thing,
and he does his fingers into his face.
What happens to the other dude? Because at one point, Kurt like gets blown back or something.
Okay, so,
and it felt like the other guy just walked off, and that was it.
I think he got taken out.
He was the only other dude that got killed off camera. Then he just kind of walks off, and then that part felt rushed. I don't
want to say that he was killed off camera because for some reason I feel like
he somehow made it.
No, he didn't make it. He died, but I think it was like a blink and you miss it. Like it was on screen, but
man, I don't.
If I went down to rub my eyes and looked up, and he was gone.
I don't feel like it was though, because I remember watching and thinking like, wait, what about him? Like, because I knew he didn't make it, but it was like, what happened? So
yeah, so he's trying to. Everyone's gone, but Kurt Russell, and he's trying to blow up the place. And then the thing comes through the ground like tremors, and then pops up beside him with half a Blair face, and the other one is
that was
face sideways. Which this scene has probably the worst effect in the movie, but not that bad.
Yeah, I think
the stop motion.
I think that they just were running low on money at this point.
They wanted to do stop motion for most of it, but they would have been too expensive, so they didn't. But it's not a bad effect. It just. It looks more dated than everything else.
I think that they were running low at this point because the ending movie was very rushed. It felt like that any part just feels rushed. And then that part happens and I forgot what Kurt says.
Yeah, he has
throws TNT.
He goes, yeah, fuck you too. And just throws the thing and it blows up and it gets out. All right.
Now, obviously, to the main part, which everybody is talking about, the ending.
Yeah. So he comes out with his bottle and he sits, freezing to death. And then all of a sudden, Charles comes around, and they were like, "What are we going to do?"
He was just chilling in the winter.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's probably what I would. I would just walk out into the winter and died. I wouldn't have stayed there.
Yeah. So they sit by each other and they say, "I guess we'll wait." I guess meaning they're dying.
Now,
you know.
And obviously, the main thing. Do you think Charles was the thing or not? I mean, I
don't know.
I think he was.
I think this was a perfect ending because
it's great.
It's like you don't know whether which one is or not.
Yeah, it's like, are they both the thing?
We technically don't need to know, but a lot of people would want definitive. There's things written about who got infected at certain points.
So
I didn't write it down because it's too much.
The part that I guess when it comes to Kurt is, I would think, or Creed, I would think that. I don't think he is the thing because I feel like he wouldn't have killed the monster.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the monsters, too, could be like, well, I'm going to simulate you because you're trying to kill him. But anyway, that happens. And, I mean, there's the whole scene where he hands him the bottle, and the bottle has, I forgot what, like kerosene or whatever the flame.
No, see, that's the thing. They think that because he hands Childs the bottle and he drinks, and at the same time, Kurt Russell smiles, like just a little grin, and then the movie ends with a pan back shot.
Well, there's that.
But because he said I think they made Molotov cocktails.
They made Molotov, but there's that. But then there's also the fact that Childs would have known not to drink from an open bottle.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a mixture there. Now, it could have just been a slip up too.
Or Kurt Russell's character gave him the bottle and he drank it and he smiled because Kurt Russell was the thing, and that affected him. And it's the same thing that he was saying earlier about the gleam in the eye.
Yeah, you don't see the gleam in his. I think that I think regardless of the whatever the Molotov was made of or not, the thing drank it. Childs drank it, and you kind of see. Regardless, it's either he wouldn't have drank it because of the open bottle thing. But then that also falls back to: do you retain how much memory do you retain when you're absorbed? Because obviously you get a fucking heart problem.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you remember the stuff? Now maybe they try to have limits on that. But I do love that it's open ended. I've seen comics where they acted like, oh, Kurt actually got away, and it goes to a whole other frozen facility. There's obviously I don't really like to consider any of those canon because obviously they could be, but to me I don't like to. They got the video game, but I never played it.
I played the Thing video game when it came out. I think 2001.
That was like
2002.
That was its own other thing. Right?
It was a sequel to it. They find his recording that he made.
Oh, okay.
But I played it for 30 minutes because it was hard.
Yeah.
And you had to keep your people alive. And it was really hard to do because there wasn't a lot of ammo. However, last year they re-released it for a remaster, and I bought it for the PS5, and I haven't played it yet. But they said they fixed some of the problems, like with the trust system, and they added more ammo in there.
Now, what I want to say is, as we're wrapping it up, because I know we're getting close to the 50-minute mark here, which is faster than the other time, but we'll work out that. Trying to figure all that shit out. But anyway, the thing is, I hate the 2011 movie because it's supposed to be a prequel, and the reason why I hate it is that it takes away all the mystery from the big first movie.
It answers questions everything that doesn't need to be answered.
Like
the two-faced guy.
Yeah.
We didn't need to, it was cool to see him rub his face and get it stuck, but we didn't need that. And I mentioned the axe
at the time
earlier.
That freaked me out. The axe I hate because you're almost like, oh, he's got the axe, so he's going to have to do the scene where he puts it in the thing. It's like, it has to be.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
I don't like that.
Because what was it? When that girl took Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the other room, like she was going to tell her something, but she wasn't paying attention, and then she just turns it into it.
It's like, I feel
and then in the helicopter when he just bursted like out of nowhere.
Yeah, that part, that looks so bad too if you've watched it.
That whole movie was done with practical effects.
I know.
But they thought they didn't look good, so they painted over it.
It looks terrible with the practical effects.
How stupid is that?
I feel like the helicopter scene part, that looks even worse. Also, that's the other part too, because that helicopter crashes and explodes, right? If I remember right. So it's like, it ruins the whole, because he could have just stayed in the form, would have gotten out. He would have got out and then would have been like, okay, now I can just take over everyone else. But no, because that was the whole thing about the first one is he laid low. This one's like, I'm going to show my ass and just literally
I'm going to show you my ass.
Every scene, it's like, guys, either come on. The only one that was apparently smart was the damn dog at the tail end.
Yeah, I did like that. That was literally the only thing that I loved from the movie. It led into the new one, but like we said, it answered questions that we didn't need answered.
Yeah, it really did not
at all.
But
I am confused out. However, the only thing that I would like to know, they never showed it, but when they brought out the block with the thing frozen in it, it gets out. Did we ever see its real form as to what it looked like, or did it already assimilate somebody and got like? Well, that's the only thing in that movie that I'm curious about.
I think no, I don't think. The thing is, it's supposed to be like it assembles and goes to another planet, simulates, goes to another planet, just takes over. I'm kind of curious on how these how these two would stack up against the Thing versus like Alien. That'd be a bad hybrid.
Ooh, man.
That'd be.
No,
I mean, it's already.
we're all dead if that happens.
I mean, it's already bad enough when the Alien formed with the Predator, but yeah, I really don't like the prequel, whatever you want to say, newest one. I hate it so much. It takes away all the mystery of the explanation.
See, I love movies, so I like a lot of things, and it's really hard for me to hate certain things. But as much as I talked about, answering questions we didn't need answered, I liked a lot of the actors in the movie.
Oh, the actors? I thought like acting, everything was fine. I just hate how
they had the dude from Game of Thrones in it.
I hate how it answers stuff, and I hate how the Thing had to show itself so much. I saw something with the jewelry. They tried to add that in.
The blood. It was instead of the blood scene in the movie, they're trying to figure out, how are we going to do it this one without doing that? It can only do organic stuff, so people with fillings and screws and stuff in their body.
That was okay. I didn't mind that. It was a different way. Fine.
And because at the end, when the guy had earring, and she's like, it was on the other side, or she's like, your earring, and he reaches like it was the other side, and wait, which makes me think, was he actually?
Yeah, he was a thing.
He was? Okay.
He was. I think he was. I think he lets out a scream. It's been so long.
Yeah, I watched. But it's okay. And then she goes to die.
Yeah.
One thing. But
so I guess to finish this up, what do you rate this movie? For me, this movie, The Thing, for me is, I want to say it. Like I said, it's my number one, or fluctuates between the 5 range. I want to give it like a 9 to 9.5.
I'm gonna be honest. This movie's a goddamn masterpiece, and I don't care what anybody fucking says. 10.
10?
No joke.
Yeah.
10.
The only reason
it's not boring. Some people would probably find it boring because a lot of the talking parts, I didn't.
The only
I was
part
engaged the whole movie.
To me, the only part was maybe that little tail end part, but it's not enough to where I want to drop it. So, I'll say a 9.5 because to me, it's a 9.5 to a 10. Yes. It just depends, I guess, on the day. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of fluctuate that in my top 5s. So.
My favorite movie is Ghostbusters, and we're going to talk about that one day.
I never actually seen the first Ghostbusters.
Episode 3, Ghostbusters, 1984.
There you go.
Maybe.
Thank y'all for listening. We're still trying to figure this out, and I don't know what destination we're going to be in next time. We may be on the water.
Yeah, real quick, though, this video was recorded almost a little over a month after our first video, but it's hard for us to get together now. Hopefully...
It's going to be figuring out with feedback.
We're going to try to get them closer, but just be patient with us. So just watch the video, please. Like it, share it, subscribe to our channel, please. Put the notification when our videos come up, and please leave a comment. Say something nice. Don't say anything hateful, but it can be something.
Well, they're going to say something hateful now.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Whoever said the Wish letter, Red letter,
someone said that we were the Wish version of Red Letter.
I completely forgot Wish was a thing. Which makes me wonder if Temu bought them out or something, because they just disappeared.
We're the dollar store brand.
The great value.
Great value.
Hey, I'll take the Wish version of Red Letter Media. That's, I'll take it. That's totally fine.
But yeah, just like, share, and subscribe, and please watch, and thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. Have a good one.